Welcome to Auto Mundial, the weekly car news and review show where this week we're taking a look at an all-new pickup truck from Hyundai, the niche-busting Santa Cruz.
We also take a look at Mercedes' new AMG GLB as it faces off against the Audi SQ2, and we examine Land Rover's new commercial Defender Hardtop.
We also have a new EV from Volkswagen, the ID4, and a brand new classic car from Wales. All that is coming up. First though, the news.
Volkswagen has announced plans to become carbon neutral by 2050 at the latest. The news comes as the brand laid out a series of carbon reduction initiatives, including greener production techniques and increased EV sales. At a conference called Way to Zero, VW bosses said that 70% of all Volkswagens sold will be electric by 2030, and that more renewable energy will be used at the brand's factories worldwide. More sustainable components will be used in the car-making process, with greener cast aluminium wheels and low-emission tyres on their way in the near future.
The new Land Rover Defender has been with us for a while now, and in that time it's fair to say that it's grown on us rather a lot. At its reveal in 2019 at the Frankfurt Motor Show, we weren't quite convinced by the styling, or indeed the price point. But its impressive off- and on-road ability are impossible to argue with. And now the brand is somewhat tackling our main concern: the price. This is the new Defender Hardtop, Land Rover's nomenclature for its commercial versions. Ditching the back seats in favour of more cargo space, the Defender 90 Hardtop is the cheapest way to get behind the wheel of the best 4x4 by far. Prices start at just under £37,000 before taxes, and for that you get a short wheelbase go-anywhere van, complete with steel wheels and 1,355 litres of space in the back. In addition to that, buyers also get a 58-litre underfloor lockable storage box and a bulkhead separating your load from the cabin. Couple all of that to the 3.5-ton towing capacity, and you have a vehicle that might once again appeal to the builders, landscapers and farmers who bought the old one. One particular feature that we absolutely love is the advanced tow assist system that allows the driver to effectively steer the trailer with a rotary dial on the centre console.
And it isn't just the short wheelbase 90 that gets the hardtop treatment. Those after more cargo capacity can opt for the 110 version with 2,059 litres of boot space and a bigger underfloor area. Unlike the old commercial 110s, the rear doors remain in place, remedying the old model's lack of side access. 110 hardtops start at under £44,000 and are available with a pair of powertrain options. Entry-level trucks get a 246 brake horsepower 6-cylinder diesel, with top-spec D300 models getting 296 horsepower, making it good for 0 to 62 in 7 seconds. Both versions also come with a mild hybrid system for improved performance and economy. The key selling point for any Land Rover, though, is its off-road ability, and the Defender Hardtop is every bit as capable as its civilian sibling. It comes with the same terrain response modes, which can automatically calculate the type of ground you're driving on and calibrate the settings accordingly. There's also a wading program that closes the air vents and keeps the brakes lightly engaged to protect the discs and pads. The departure angles are almost as good as the old cars, while the maximum wading depth has been increased to a deeply impressive 900mm, almost double the old Defenders. Both 90 and 110 models come with independent coil-sprung suspension, with the 110 available with optional air suspension.
Inside, all Defenders are available with 3 seats in the front, and Land Rover's Clear Sight rear view mirror, which shows images from the rear view camera on the rear view mirror to enable easier reversing, especially if you have a full cargo area. On the road, the new Defender is worlds away from the old one. It actually has space for your elbows, and the ride won't have you booking appointments at your local chiropractor. A commercial version of the Discovery is also available for those who do want a little extra luxury, but the new 90 and 110 hardtops may well be the Defenders to go for.
Following on from the launch of its new electric family hatchback, the ID3, Volkswagen has revealed the next car in its ID EV range, a Tiguan-sized SUV called the ID4. Derived from the 2017 ID Cross concept car, the 4 continues VW's new ID series design language, with a striking full-width LED light bar at the front and a large windscreen similar to its siblings. While we must admit that we're not huge fans of the colour on this particular honey yellow example, it is a good-looking car on the outside and in the cabin, where you're greeted by a smart, modern interior. Lots of bits have been borrowed from the ID3, with a 10-inch or optional 12-inch screen, ambient mood lighting and a very cool digital driver's display. Measuring up somewhere in between a Tiguan and a bigger Tiguan All-Space, the ID4 has plenty of space inside, despite the floor being full of batteries. Speaking of which, various sizes are available, with top-spec cars getting a 77 kilowatt-hour battery capable of up to 323 miles on a single charge. A 201 brake horsepower electric motor powers the rear wheels, getting the SUV from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.5 seconds. That straight-line performance may not seem that impressive against many of the other new EVs that we've seen this year, but a more powerful all-wheel drive version is on its way at some point next year.
And, to top it all off, the ID4 has recently been crowned the World Car of the Year for 2021. Only the second time an electric car has done so, following on from the Jaguar I-Pace in 2019. Up against 23 other cars, it fended off the likes of the Honda E and the new Toyota Yaris to clinch the top spot. First edition models are on sale now, starting at around £41,000 before any local government grants are applied. And for that, you get all the bells and whistles, plus the 201 brake horsepower motors. Inside, it gets many of the same features found in the ID3, including a lack of physical buttons. Many of the controls are hidden within the slightly clunky infotainment system, meaning it isn't always the easiest thing to use while on the move.
The ID3 hatchback, meanwhile, aims to fill the void left by the old e-Golf. As such, it hasn't gone over the top with the futuristic styling, instead making a car that still largely looks like a normal car but just happens to be electric. With more and more EVs being sold each year, it's entirely possible that the ID3 may one day outsell the Golf. The ID4 could eventually replace the Tiguan. VW is aiming to sell 3 million EVs by 2025, and with VW's loyal customer base built on dependable, sensible cars, we think models like the new IDs could well help the brand to achieve that goal.
After the break, a new, old rally car and Hyundai's new pickup truck.
Coming up, the Mercedes-AMG GLB and the Hyundai Santa Cruz. But first...
In 1968, the Ford Motor Company launched a new model to replace the humble Anglia. Featuring American-influenced Coke bottle styling, the Escort was also developed for motorsport use, and in particular, rallying.
Cars and competitors were to visit 25 countries in just 26 days driving. Their ultimate destination, Mexico City.
Throughout the 1970s, the Escort, with its Cosworth-derived BDA engine, dominated the world of rallying. The Mark II model won the inaugural 1979 World Rally Championship, and again in 1981. Fast forward to 2021, 43 years after the first Escort drove off the production line. And guess what? Yep, we can go back to the future. Because, believe it or not, British company MST Cars has started remanufacturing both the Mark I and Mark II models at their workshop in deepest, darkest Wales. Make no mistake, these are not rebuilt kit cars. These are brand new, registered vehicles built from the ground up. Customers can spec their car to preference and price accordingly, with a choice of both engine and trim options. Built to order from basic road trim up to full rally spec, both the Mark I and Mark II models really are a blank canvas. Popular power plant options range from classic Crossflow and Pinto variants right up to Cosworth and Millington 16-valve units, producing eye-watering power outputs, in some cases in excess of 300 horsepower. With incredible power-to-weight ratios and rear-wheel drive, each car is tailor-made for fun. Sequential gearboxes, power steering and huge LSD axles are all on the options list too. So whether you want a new classic for Sunday afternoons or a fully blown rally car, MST can build your dream classic.
In the last couple of years, AMG has been on a bit of a roll. The engineers have been getting their hands on everything from supercars to family hatchbacks, and now it's the turn of Mercedes' latest baby SUV, the GLB. Available for now only as an entry-level AMG 35 with no wild 45 version as yet, the chunky little GLB finally has the power to keep up with rivals from Audi and BMW. It gets a reworked version of the 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder from the A35, producing 302 brake horsepower. 0 to 62 takes 5.2 seconds, not bad for a 4-pot SUV. The Merc's 4MATIC all-wheel drive system goes through an 8-speed dual-clutch transmission, with new drive models with names like Slippery, Comfort and Sport Plus, depending on where you want to lay down that power. All of these subtly tweaking the throttle response, gearbox, steering weight and suspension for the ideal performance. The suspension has also been upgraded for reduced body roll, and an optional AMG ride control suspension electronically controls damping at each wheel. Speed-sensitive power steering, 4-piston AMG brakes and standard 19-inch alloys are all included, but the Affalterbach speed freaks didn't stop there. The exterior has been treated to more aggressive AMG cues like the pugnacious grille and bad boy body kit. It's certainly an interesting look, but one that will no doubt appeal to the nouveau riche target audience. AMG has done a decent job of making it feel a bit more special. It certainly stands out from the standard car, and you can't help but feel good when you're driving an AMG. There's also a night package available, which gives you bigger wheels and various bits of blacked out trim for those who really want to compensate. As for the interior, it's largely the same as the regular cars, but with a few sporty bits thrown in. You get a flat-bottomed sports steering wheel with paddle shifters, touches of carbon fibre on the dash and a pair of sports seats up front. This can be jazzed up with optional leather packages, but there's plenty in here such as the standard MBUX infotainment system to keep anyone happy. For those with big families, there is an option of a third row of seats, but we'd only recommend it for small children. But what other fast small SUVs are out there?
Well, arguably, the class leader is this, the Audi SQ2, serving up a similar dose of performance with some somewhat more conventional styling. The powertrain has been borrowed from the Audi S3 hot hatch, and the ride height has been lowered among various other chassis tweaks. It's not quite as big as the GLB, but it has the same hot hatch sensibilities for the families who want practicality with an extra dollop of speed. Speaking of which, this is a very quick little crossover indeed, beating the Merc to 62 in just 4.8 seconds. It is rather heavy though, and far from what we describe as a true driver's car.
So in this battle of niche fast small SUVs, it's the Mercedes that just clinches it for us. It's quirky yet practical and sure to turn heads wherever it goes. Whether the world really needed a fast version of the GLB is unclear, but another AMG model to choose from can't be a bad thing.
Over in the States, Korean brand Hyundai has a handful of models we don't get on this side of the Atlantic. For the most part, they're either a bit too big or we get a more European alternative. But now Hyundai has a new model for North America, and we think it would do really rather well on this side of the pond. This is it, the all-new Santa Cruz, a small pickup truck that looks to be a breath of fresh air in a fairly stale sector of the market. Smaller than the traditional full-size American trucks from Ford and Chevrolet, the Santa Cruz is a more compact rival to the likes of the Honda Ridgeline and Jeep Gladiator. And when we say compact, we mean compact. It is a full 10 inches shorter than a Nissan Frontier and 17 inches shorter than a Toyota Tacoma. It's more of an SUV with a truck bed, and as such, it doesn't use the traditional body-on-frame construction. It's a unibody with 4 doors and styling borrowed from other models in Hyundai's lineup. The striking front end with that geometric grille, similar to the new Tucson, is a world away from any other truck on the market. In fact, from any angle, the Santa Cruz is unique, and we must say, we like it. The crew cab design means it gets 4 doors with seating for 5, although the rear bench isn't exactly roomy. It can fold away though, leaving you with some extra storage space. Up front, it becomes clear that Hyundai is targeting more than just commercial customers. The design looks more like that of a car than a truck, with a stylish dashboard, premium-looking steering wheel, and plenty of tech on show. There aren't any physical controls, but it gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, along with a wireless phone charger. There's also a very smart digital instrument panel that really adds to the premium look and feel of this cabin. There are 2 powertrain options for the Santa Cruz, both meaty 2.5-litre 4 cylinders. The first produces 190 horsepower with the upgraded turbocharged 2.5, putting out 275. Both are hooked up to an 8-speed automatic transmission, with the higher spec model getting a dual clutch. Both versions get all-wheel drive and locking differentials, meaning it should hold its own over rough terrain.
However, if you want a smallish pickup that can handle itself off-road, the Jeep Gladiator takes some beating. With its excellent ground clearance, low approach angles, locking differentials, and low-range gearbox on spec Rubicon models, it's virtually unstoppable off-road. It doesn't have all of the advanced off-road tech that you can get on modern Land Rovers, but the Jeep proves that you just don't need it if you've got plenty of grunt. On the road, it's fair to say that the Jeep is less impressive. While the big balloon tyres make it really comfortable, show the Jeep a corner and things start to come undone. So what about the Honda Ridgeline? Like the Hyundai, it uses a modern unibody construction to improve its on-road dynamics. It may not be as stylish or as luxurious as the Hyundai or even the Jeep, but its big V6 provides plenty of grunt, and its roomy cabin and pickup bed make it a great everyday choice.
For us, though, it's the Hyundai that appeals the most. We get the sense that it's targeted more towards outdoorsy types who want the look of a truck and the dynamics of a car more than commercial buyers. And we have to commend Hyundai for that. We just hope they eventually bring it to Europe.
Join us again next week on Auto Mundial as we check out the glorious new Bentley Continental GT Speed.